Duran Farm project recommences with clear plans. Lay Building Board says many businesses don't comply. And PNG to lead discussions for Trade Ministers meet.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
Very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Thursday's news. Work on the controversial Duran Farm housing project in Port Moresby is set to recommence after being stalled for almost 3 years. Housing Minister John Kaupa says necessities, including roads, sewage and electricity, were not in place before housing structures were built. He added that constant consultation with service providers will see these services being installed. A 15-week working deadline is being scheduled for the project.
After almost 3 years of stop work by developer and government agencies, the Duran Housing Scheme project is set to recommence. This morning, Housing Minister John Kaupa announced a 15 working week is targeted to complete necessary services like water, sewage, road and electricity into the housing estate project.
Similar meaning that infrastructure development like roads, power, sewage and telephone lines must be in place. And these are work of the surveyor and these are work of the engineers who will come up with a plan so that when the contractors come, they will know exactly where to put up the houses.
A comprehensive report outlines issues NHC needs to comply with and settle out all survey plans to its proper plan. Much of the delay has been caused by fraudulent acquisitions and illegal transfer of titles that NHC has fully deliberated on with the Department of Lands and Physical Planning. The first stage is now the completion of survey work.
We've started with our topo survey, cadastral and engineering survey at the same time. So that's what we are rolling out with this week. We started on Tuesday. Because of the funding from National Planning.
We are targeting to have at least 500 land titles available. The cadastral, topo, all these ones will be completed so that we can put the road design, etc., moving, and water supply, the power regulation will follow. So that's basically 15 weeks program is a crash program that we want to implement.
NHC anticipates that construction of houses will be completed by August with a capacity of 2,515 allotments for both residential and commercial tenancy.
And we just look forward to August, September this year and start constructing for our clients. We have clients throughout PNG Power, Air New Guinea, BSB Bank, Department of Justice. These are honest Papua New Guinean citizens that have signed up in good faith.
Meanwhile, the Housing Minister says investigation into the unlawful transfer of 300 titles is with police to determine.
Right now, people are 301 title is somewhere there, and we haven't got the money. And we have got no proper documentation, sales agreement, or whatever contract or sales in place.
At the Rano, PNG Power, NHC and developer Ausman Building Solutions will work together to complete the housing project, which was initiated in 2012. Jack Lepava Jr., National EMTV News.
Black Swan International held a news conference yesterday in response to the confrontation on Sunday between a community at Port Moresby's 5 Mile and Black Swan Security. Black Swan International refused to speak on camera during the incident, however, has now given their side of the story and what the company plans to do moving forward.
According to Black Swan and Goilala community leaders, the confrontation on Sunday between the community of 5 Mile and Black Swan personnel, which lasted an hour, was provoked by one family who prompted the whole community, resulting in people injured during the fight. On Tuesday, community leaders and Black Swan International came to a resolution, a reconciliation agreement following an official press conference, which Black Swan managers spoke on the issue and suggested solutions moving forward. Black Swan International CEO Brian Kelly said physical damages done to his company properties during the brawl is estimated to the value of 200,000 kina.
We see this as an isolated incident between some intoxicated people that chose to get involved in a confrontation with some of our people, which unfortunately escalated to a point where it had to be ceased by both our parties.
Goilala community leader Paul Area says Black Swan International will not move out or relocate, but continue to run its business operations in the community. He says the company has brought in opportunities for locals in the area.
On the aspect of who actually caused the incident, we have identified particular people, and our purpose was to identify that, Black Swan assist the police, so that we do not want future repetition of that incident, and we want to reduce and zoom down to more or less a zero tolerance activity in the community.
From Black Swan's perspective, we love being in this community. We've been in the community now for 18 months. We've had no previous incidents. We employ approximately 200 people from the settlements around this base. The community financially benefits from us being here with their informal markets, as well as that a lot of our employees rent accommodation from the nearby areas here. And only last week we actually had a meeting with the leadership group to talk about other initiatives that Black Swan could actually commence in this area.
Kelly says the matter is now in the hands of the police and perpetrators involved will be dealt with accordingly.
We just want to move forward with the community, and we'll just let the police conduct their investigation and do what they do best. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out here today so we can clear the air and see that we are one big happy family.
Moving into the future, Black Swan International says it is happy to work closely with the community to create opportunities for people in terms of employment and programs that will lead to community benefits. Leaders say the community is given undertaking and assurance to allow company vehicles, guards and business mobility to recommence using Kanaga Street without further threats, harassment and distraction. Godwin Eki, National MTV News.
Most investors in Lae failed to provide building plans for business operations. Morobe Provincial Building Inspector Margisel Oreke said the sausage factory shut down last month was supposed to be a warehouse and not a factory. The company changed the purpose without consulting the Provincial Building Board. Lae City engineer Alex Gawi confirmed that the company was illegally operating and should be permanently closed.
This is the official application form from the Morobe Provincial Building Board. Businesses seek approval from the board when erecting a building described in the application, along with an attached plan. Before the board approves the application, it has to be certified by several other authorities, including Lands Department, Physical Planning Board, Health Division and Water PNG. However, the building board doesn't have an official record of the sausage factory company, trading as Wongsheng Limited. A similar case was reported in March following reports from the public regarding alleged illegal operations by a foreign company in Lae, trading as J. Hera Enterprises Limited. According to Lae City Council Senior Building Inspector Bonnie Tangara, the building was constructed to operate as a shop. The plan was submitted by the landlord, More Kaupa, and approved by Provincial Building Board. The building has now been rented to J. Hera Enterprises, who are now operating a food bar, club, liquor shop and lodge. According to the company managing director, Habibur Rahman, the licenses to operate this business were approved by Lae Urban Local Level Government. It is now clear that the officers from the approving authorities have failed to carry out their duties. An engineer from Lae City Council Engineering and Technical Services Department, Alex Gawi, says the officers from Lae City Council Health Division should be blamed for issuing licenses to the businesses without proper consideration. Julie Badui Owa, National MTV News, Lae.
Still in Lae, customary landowners in Lae City say they will still shut down fish processing plants located on customary land after government agencies failed to meet with them. The 7-day ultimatum ended yesterday. The landowners are seeking improved benefits from the operations as opposed to land rentals of 1,000 kina for each portion of land.
I stay 7 days, notice me come up in this. So we don't have a choice. Me plus anablo tok me played, but me plus still passing all factories and then wait for them to answer to our demand.
Bougainville Copper Limited recorded another loss for the 2017 financial year, but Chairman Mel Togolo says they have made enough to continue operations. Mr. Togolo said the loss was expected, but is hopeful for 2018 as the company continues to strengthen its ties with landowners on Bougainville. BCL is also in court with the ABG on the decision made by the ABG mining registrar on not granting an extension on exploration license number 1, which covers Panguna.
Bougainville Copper Limited made a loss of 7.3 million kina for 2017, but there were some upsides for the year. BCL held its first board meeting in Bougainville in more than 27 years in August 2017, opening of an office in Buka, and progress in settling outstanding landowner compensation.
Trying to maintain good relationship with the landowners and with the government of Bougainville and other stakeholders. So, but we've got enough cash to keep doing what we're doing in terms of trying to create good relationship with all our stakeholders, and they are mainly the landowners.
BCL also advised shareholders that due to the region's critical planning for referendum as part of the Bougainville Peace Agreement, ABG had denied an extension of an exploration license.
Hopefully that whatever outcome we got, we can work together. And must be important to note that we want to work together with the Papua New Guinea government, with the Bougainville Autonomous Government and the landowners to ensure that whatever the outcome is, it's going to benefit the island of Bougainville and the people of Bougainville.
The issue is before the National Court as BCL is seeking a judicial review. BCL advised their shareholders that BCL was granted a leave by the court to seek the review, and a stay order is in place on the decision of the extension of the exploration license. Mr. Togolo said that for 2018, BCL will look to continue to strengthen ties with Panguna landowners.
Our relationship with the community, our relationship with the government, and we will try and deliver some community projects, particularly, as I mentioned, in health and education. And I hope that will create goodwill between us and the rest of the people in Bougainville.
The AGM also saw the board of directors re-elected. Adelaide Sturrock-Curry, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. City Pharmacy Limited undergoing a transformation, trauma cases rising in Western Highlands, and Women Business Centre Resource Centre helping women venture out on their own. Those stories and more when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. The country's largest retail outlet, City Pharmacy, has commenced an overhaul of its operations. Dubbed the CPL Transformation Project, this will see the company reassessing its entire operation chain with the aim to improve services to its customers nationwide. The developments were announced by CPL Managing Director Mahesh Patel. Since commencing operations over 30 years ago, City Pharmacy has grown to become the largest retailer in the country, with branches in every major centre. However, given some challenging issues faced in the recent past, which included fires to its main headquarters in Gerehu, as well as the Waigani Central Arcade, the retailer has now taken the bold step of reviewing its operations with the aim of improving its offering to its customers. Managing Director Mahesh Patel informed the staff of the transformation program, which CPL will now be undertaking.
We've been doing things for 30 years the same way. It's time we sat back and re-looked at how we do business. Things have changed, demographics have changed, people have changed, their tastes have changed. We're going to go back, re-look at our businesses, transform our businesses, develop our people, our systems, and really empower. And I cannot win unless I have the support of all of you. That is why it was important for me to make sure that we don't stop our meetings at a manager's level, but we need to go right down to the cleaners, the shelf packers, We want ideas from you. You guys are the face of City Pharmacy or the CPL group.
The decision to implement a transformation program has been one that seeks to involve consultation by the company at all levels, with Patel keen on ensuring that opinions of its most precious resource, its workers, captured.
I mean, cash is still tight because the market is very low at the moment. Business is down, but we need to improve our cost structure. Looking at doing things more with technology now, as I was mentioned, that times have changed now. We got a lot of young people now using a lot of technology instead of going paper-based. So we're looking at all costs at the moment to trim any fat out of the system, whilst realizing that human resources are key. So we make sure that we upskill them to take on more responsibility, more advanced training.
The current state of the economy overall has already had significant impacts on CPL, with the forced closure of its hardware division in Kimbe, West New Britain. However, the company's managing director believes through this transformation phase, the company will begin to realize better days ahead.
Starting bottom up, of trying to engage everybody in the organization, and everybody has to play a part. We can't fix the business or turn a business around just by making decisions at the top level.
The second senior officials meeting and related meetings concluded today in Port Moresby. Delegates from APEC member economies discussed issues surrounding women and the economy, fisheries, trade facilitation, and many more.
Many of the high-level discussions look towards initiatives that aim to empower people in the region to tap into the digital age, focusing on the opportunities the digital transformation has to improve job creation, education, and an overall quality of life. Discussions also looked at trade challenges brought upon by growths in regional economies.
Recommences, we are tracking well in terms of our hosting program. We've got a number of initiatives that are in the works. We are moving those steadily. We received quite good support, for instance, from our proposal to establish a implementation governance mechanism for the internet and digital roadmap. I think that received very good support from senior officials. We certainly started and are in the process of finalizing the ministerial statement for the trade ministers, and if you've been in the APEC space long enough, these statements are not easy documents to manage and bring forward.
A significant agenda discussed at this cluster of meetings was the convening of the first APAC Vision Group, set up with the intention to bring together eminent people from the 21 member economies to chart a new way forward for the region post-2020. Leanne Jarari, National EMTV News.
Papua New Guinea Trade Minister Wera Mori will be heading the discussions in the APEC Trade Ministers meeting, which begins in Port Moresby tomorrow. The meeting will discuss ways to support and improve trading systems and include economic growth amongst APEC member countries.
Chair of Senior Officials Meeting, Ivan Pamaleu, highlighted that increasing women's participation in trade, strengthening fishing policies, and free trade arrangements will be some agendas that will be discussed. It aims to foster sustainable and inclusive economic growth through digital platforms.
The ministers responsible for trade meeting, that would be meeting number 24, they convene tomorrow. And that will be a continuation of work for some officials, including Alan, of course, and they have a 2-day meeting, 25th and 26th of May.
Traditionally, all trade ministers' meetings are held straight after SOM2 to encourage more trading between APEC member countries. As reported by the APEC Secretariat, trade ministers are expected to consider ideas presented by scholars from the APEC Studies Center Consortium with policy prescriptions from technical APEC working groups.
a lot of the focus is on the what's known as the MRT because it does signal the global positioning on all matters relating to trade. So there's a lot of interest in terms of how the ministers will deal with key issues under trade and investment in globalization. And the work that we feed into the ministers for trade are some of the work that is discussed and implemented under what's known as the Committee on Trade and Investments.
Much of the discussions will be technical, but a simplified outcome of this meeting will be released when the meeting concludes. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
To Madang Province now. In Madang Town's Ward 2 vendors have raised concerns after 2 police officers approached them and told them to stop marketing. The frustrated sellers say only the Madang urban local level government has the powers to remove them, while police can only act on MULLG's instructions. They were told due to the APEC meeting held in Madang next month, vendors will not be allowed to sell goods including betel nut.
This is the Kalibobo Ward 2 market, and vendors say this area is a designated market location which has been operating for almost 16 years. But on Monday, they say 2 police officers asked them to stop their business due to the upcoming APEC meeting in Madang.
All been talking me plow say me plow must see this la market because lo APEC meeting ba come on lo this la lo Madang lo here, so all no liking by Mipla Salim Buai Daka, all this la something lo bagarapim look lo front lo hotel, where all no been giving me proper notice or letter or black and white one something or call him, but Mipla just kirap nongo to sem all talking Mipla lo rausim all market. So
the vendors went on to say that on Tuesday the officers returned and ordered them to stop.
Now police come get talking Mipla never talk. Alright, me plan explain inside the council, me plan. You police you come talk to me plan. I am using force now. I'm talk. You plan, but me come out in table with a table.
Former Ward 2 councillor and former Deputy Town Mayor Christopher Tomongo says this market is one of the 10 designated market locations. This is covered under a resolution that was passed by the Madang Urban Local Level Government in 2006. This market is sitting on reserved land, and any action taken to remove the market by local police should be done by the Madang Urban Local Level Government.
Go back on the ground. It's the ground long status of the ground and ground and stuff long state land and reserve land. No what money owning property and government owning. So time we find him out this in the area and what 2 long here and put him long in front long opposite the Madang resort and state land now stuff there. So council approve him. Working resolution. Na so resolution I mean legal it. Na still stop it. No what amendment. Only change him. Or council in the boom, no amendment changing. So police.
For now, the town mayor has asked the vendors to continue doing business. Town Mayor Joe Yama and the Madang police could not be reached for comment. Martha Lewis, National EMTV News, Madang.
Here with Thursday's news, we go for a break now and be back with more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Thursday's news. 2 contracts worth 41 million kina for upgrade work for Mendi and Tokwa airports were signed by the National Airports Corporation and contractors today. This infrastructure improvement falls under the KADE program, which aims to redevelop 22 national airports to ensure safety and security compliance. Tokwa will see a fencing project, while Mendi will see a facelift in all its airport facilities.
The signing of the contract documents is part of the Civil Aviation Development Investment Program or CADIP to have domestic airports comply with global aviation standards. NAC will be closely monitoring the 2 projects.
I call on our 2 successful contractors to work diligently with our project team and NAC management team to deliver these projects within scope, time and budget for our people.
22 airports around the country are part of the CADIP program. For Tokwa, the fencing project is awarded to local company G-Men Construction at the cost of 13.3 million, while the Mendi project was awarded to Chinese company Sino Hydro Corporation at the cost of 27.7 million kina.
These improvements are very critical for, as I've said before, for the development of the country, and that we must all support those kind of programs.
The Asian Development Bank and Go PNG has been the source of funding for the KEDI program since 2009.
Today, the event and signing of this new contract showed a continued progress of the civil aviation program and a growing partnership between the government and the Asian Development Bank.
Mendi MP Michael Nally says the project is a turnaround for the people of Southern Highlands. He says it is timely and work must progress.
This is an important facility that we are trying to develop. It will be in Mendi, it will be in Southern Highlands, but it's a facility that belongs to all of us.
And others who have played a significant part in trying to help rebuild Southern Highlands, and rebuilding Mendi will be a milestone step in the direction towards rebuilding our infrastructure that has been devastated by the earthquake. So once again, thank you for all who have played a part.
Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
To Parliament today, and not enough gauzes, syringes and other important medical supplies in hospitals was the first question raised in Parliament today. ECP Governor Alan Bird questioned the Health Minister on why medical supplies were low and why doctors and nurses are refusing to speak to them as they had been instructed not to by the ministry.
As recently as this morning, we understand that at the POM General Hospital, they're running out of things like gauze just to stop the bleeding and other consumables. Now, Mr. Speaker, this is contrary to the responses that we have received from the good minister in the last couple of days.
Health Minister Sepo Katemu responded saying that he would not deny there is a shortage of medical supplies in hospitals.
Items like needles or syringes or gauze or cotton wool. Those are items that people always run out, and it's not a new story. But our challenge is, the reason why I am giving assurance to the nation is that we have processes that are already started to bring the supplies back to the normal situation. I'm not denying that we don't have out of stock. There are items that are highly demanded on a day-to-day basis, like the emergency department of the Port Moresby General Hospital.
Minister Temu said they have tendered all contracts for medical supplies, and once supplies come in, it should reach a consistent pace.
They will always run short of supplies, but my assurance to you and the nation is we have now begun processes to bring the right levels of supplies to every facility in the country. Like what I assured the nation. We already got the general supplies tenders out, that the tenders have closed. TEC will be meeting, they will advise the CSTB, then make the decision, and those supplies will begin to come.
Meanwhile, the minister also pointed out that doctors and the media sometimes should not always report on the negative.
That Facebook pathologically going out there, including our doctors. I told them, look, you better come and tell me. I'm a doctor. I am passionate like you are. I will respond. I've secured the biggest health budget. I know the system well better than many of you. I am passionate. I care about the people. And so I've saved many people in my term as a doctor. Many of them. Unfortunately, the media always talks about the negative, but out of 10 patients that go in the hospitals, 9 come out alive. Nobody talks about the 9. They only talk about the 1 that died.
Adelaide Sirox Kari, National EMTV News.
Mount Hagen General Hospital, like other hospitals in the country, has been dealing with more trauma patients with limited resources. Emergency physician Dr. Scotty Candaleo says in the Highlands region, tribal fights are one of the main causes of trauma. A 3-day emergency course training facilitated by the International Committee of the Red Cross will help health practitioners in the Highlands region deal with trauma patients.
Mount Hagen General Hospital is one of the busiest in the country because it also serves the other neighboring Highlands provinces like Enga, Hela and Southern Highlands. The emergency department alone receives almost over 150 patients every day. At least 30 to 40 of the patients have trauma cases. Mount Hagen General Hospital emergency physician Dr. Scotty Candelo says the only 22 beds in the emergency room are always full with trauma patients. Dr. Candelo says most of the cases are of tribal fights, all sorts of violence and accidents.
Where people who are injured, they have different time limits. If we don't save them within the first few minutes, they tend to die. Or there are some patients who come, they can die after hours, or others they die after days or so. And this course is very important because it assists, it helps the people who are in the forefront of the hospital to quickly identify and do immediate life-saving treatments.
The Emergency Room Trauma Course, or ERTC, facilitated by ICRC, will help health practitioners, especially those that work at the emergency department, to treat trauma patients with limited resources. The 3 days training, which ends today, was attended by health practitioners in the 7 Highlands provinces. ICRC Chief Surgeon Dr. Andreas Ladis said the course is only given to countries or places of high violence. It is a refresher course on evidence-based standard treatment of severely injured people using limited resources.
So my hope is that at the end of this 3-day course, the nurses and the doctors and the surgeons who have participated will come out and feeling much more confident and much more skilled in how to deal with these very, very difficult cases.
ICRC has also talked about the Geneva Convention that during a conflict, the health staffs and facilities must be protected at all times. More awareness is needed to protect the healthcare system. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
A local landowner living near the Kagamuga International Airport has brushed aside the Work Secretary's statement in a daily newspaper recently about compensation claims of the new 4-lane highway. From the statement, Work Secretary David Were said a local in Mount Hagen alleged that the Works Department did not pay compensation for a piece of customary land. However, John Pock spoke to EMTV News on his stance.
John Pock has been vocal since the beginning of the construction of the 4-lane highway last year in Mount Hagen for the government not to infringe on to touch customary land. Pock said he is not complaining as an individual, but as an appointed representative of people living on the eastern side of the 4-lane road. Pock clarified that the locals have given enough of their customary land for the 4-lane highway and the government should stop taking more.
5 meter or 18 all come more, another 9 meter. So this is where people got understanding or got talk one time or engineer or JBS or works line come not talk one time people. For that reason, I'm now me come out.
Pock said that people and businesses on the eastern and western end of the 4-lane road were supposed to give 15 meters of the land and an additional 5 meters of the customary land for footpath. He complained that only the people on the eastern side had given up their businesses and gave their land to Works. Pock questioned why the businesses on the western side were valued but are still standing.
The big hotel all value finish. Nan this is money. Time only on demolishing two big building. This is money am go long way. Money been stuck inside long. Pege time all go sim loan long walking 4-lane road long. Again go la Keltega. I have to go la Keltega. But now me like ask him secretary. This is money am stable on him up. Now money am migi money.
Pock said he is happy for such development, but is urging the national government to be fair in the exercise. Pork had lost his two-story house, a trade store, and a trucking yard for the four-lane highway to proceed. Fasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
NASFund has partnered with Telecom PNG to allow contributors to access its online portals through Telecom PNG's 4G network for free. This deal was announced by both entities today. According to NASFund, this deal is the first of its kind for a super fund in PNG and demonstrates the commitment it has to improving its offering to contributors, whilst at the same time utilizing Telecom's 4G coverage. Over the last 18 months, contributors to NASFund have realized several changes, with the super fund rolling out its online portals. These include the new look website, as well as the employer and employee portals, which brings the fund's services closer to contributors. Today, another development, and one that will be welcomed. NASFund announcing that it has partnered with Telecom PNG to allow NASFund contributors to access NASFund's online portals for free. According to NASFund, this is a huge step for the super fund and is a first for the industry in PNG.
We have received feedback from members that some are having a challenge with employers, where employers can give them access to have general access to the internet so that they can load contributions. So in that sense, we have received all that feedback and put it together so we can come up with a solution that will better service our members.
The development of this partnership follows on from consultations with contributors, with data access still an issue given current internet costs.
What better partners to have than being with Telecom? They have a great product, they have a great network with 4G. The speeds are brilliant, the network is reliable, and we are very pleased that our members will now get to benefit from a brilliant solution. There is no more need for members to require data or employers to require postpaid plans, prepaid plans to go and access the digital online services for NASFund.
Through this partnership, Telecom PNG believes it is providing value for its subscribers who may be contributors to NASFund. According to National Retail Manager Amos Tepi, this partnership is built on innovation which is specifically tailored for Papua New Guineans.
With telecom availability, affordability, and 4G LTE, that's broadband speeds, we encourage members and employees to acquire and also utilize a telecom SIM card to access your NASFund account information for free.
NASFund members who have a telecom SIM in a smartphone or a MiFi or Wi-Fi router can access the online portals for free. And given impending improvements to the country's telecommunication infrastructure, there is great confidence that this partnership will be welcomed by contributors nationwide. You're watching National EMTV News. We go for a break now. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Stay tuned for that.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with football, and the NCD Football Association has decided to defer its season proper to next week to allow all teams to fully meet the affiliation requirements for this year's season. President Voni Kapinato said she fully supported the deferral because it has been a hectic 2 consecutive weekends for her executives and coordinators.
Following a successful back-to-back 7 soccer challenge hosted by the NCD Football Association in the last 2 weekends, Voni Kapinato has backed a deferral of the season proper to give participating teams enough time to sort out their affiliation fees, while allowing officials and volunteers some rest time to recuperate and prepare for the new season. The recent Southern Conference 7 soccer challenge was taken out by FC Wantoks in both men's and women's competition. In the men's game, FC Wantok defeated Kaupa 3-1 in the penalty shootout after a scoreless tie in regulation time and extra time before penalty shootout was decided. In the women's grand final, Mari Kaipu scored a double against Bomana 2-0 to win the inaugural Southern Conference 7 Soccer Challenge under the Football Federation PNG banner. Kaipu eventually picked up the Golden Boot Award for the 2-day Southern Conference 7 Soccer Challenge, while Nathan James, also of FC Wantok, picked up the award in the men's division. Meanwhile, Capinato is calling on all club executives to attend an important meeting at the Rita Flynn Courts this Sunday. The meeting will run from 2 to 4 p.m. with all club executives required to attend as NCDFA prepares for another exciting football season. Shane Soroya, National, EMTV Sports.
Still on football, the International Food Corporation say they are proud to be sponsors of a team in the National Soccer League after their team made it to the grand final set for this Saturday. After 9 years in the competition, Besta United is expected to give competition leaders Toti City a run for their money. The grand final set for Saturday in Leh is expected to set the stage for selections and various other meets in future.
Very proud of our team and would like to congratulate the coach Mr. Harrison, and his official as well as the player for making it into the National Soccer League grand final after 9 years.
To basketball, and the NCD Basketball Association is gearing up for another exciting season with the preseason kickoff at the Hall of Basketball Courts on Saturday. Association President Kevin Teme has welcomed all interested teams to join the association.
The competition will serve as a lead-up to the Oceania Under-15 Basketball Championship for both boys and girls later this year. The NCD Basketball Association will cater for Open Division, A grades in both men and women, Under-20 and Under-15 category. All participating clubs in the PNG Premier Men's Basketball League competition are encouraged to field their teams in the junior competition. Association President Kevin Tame said it is likely that some of the high school teams will be joining the competition, marking an exciting year of basketball for the NCD Basketball Association. The president encouraged the under-15 boys and girls to take part in the competition, as it will be used by the national selectors to pick a national side for the FIBA Youth Tournament in December. So far, 6 teams have confirmed their participation in the Under-15 Youth Tournament, including heavyweights Australia and New Zealand. Shane Soroya, National, EMTV Sports.
Don't go anywhere, we'll have more of Trukai Sports after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To cricket now, and Cricket PNG today announced the 14-woman squad that will be competing at the 2018 ICC Women's World T20 qualifier. The qualifiers will be held from the 3rd to the 14th of July in the Netherlands.
After 5 months of training and selections, the 14-member team comprises of 13 players, all of whom are from POM Cricket and Popondeta's Natasha Ambo. Speaking of the World Qualifiers and the team's performances that brought them to this stage, major sponsor City Pharmacy Limited CEO Mahesh Patel was pleased to see the team continuing to hold a place. The Laos, who are among the top 16 in the world and top in the East Asia Pacific region, are expected to make this qualifier count, with West Indies, the host of the T20 World Cup, in their sights.
You know, there's a saying that the way a team plays as a whole determines its success. You may have the greatest bunch of individual stars in the world, but if they don't play together, the team won't be worth a dime. Our national women's cricket team has proved that a game can only be victorious when the players are well coordinated, disciplined, and really involved in a true team spirit.
And Cricket PNG is also pleased at the prospect of seeing their team carrying out national representation once more, and this time on a bigger platform.
And they are a huge chance to finish 1-2 in the final in this 2 groups of 4 pools. In our pool we have PNG, Netherlands, Bangladesh, UAE. Pool B, Ireland, Scotland, Uganda and Thailand. So the top two of each pool go to the semis, and the winner of the semis become the next 2 teams to go to the World Cup, which will be held in the West Indies in 2019. So we are very, very confident our girls are well prepared on and off the field to fill the final 2 spots.
Speaking of their progress so far, Coach Raro Adikana is pleased with how hard the team has worked for the qualifiers and thankful for the support given by all stakeholders.
In the lead up, we've gone through some bumps and some humps along the way, but I'm sure it's all for the good times ahead here in the next few weeks. So the girls understand that remaining as much as possible, remaining as a close unit as much as possible will be crucial, and the girls have done really well in that regard, and I can't praise them enough for the hard work they've put in the last 5 months, and I'm quietly confident that the girls will show up in Netherlands with a good team spirit and looking forward to perform well.
And of course, there is one Lewa in particular who can't wait to get to the qualifiers. 20-year-old Brenda Tau, who has made a mark for herself at the EAP qualifiers and especially the Australian Cricket County Championship last year, where she was awarded the prestigious baggy green by Australian Cricket, is one batswoman who is ready to fight for a World Cup spot.
What matters is we did go and we did fight, because I do believe that the Lewas will make it. I do believe deep in my heart that we will go and we will win and come back with great news.
Dina Rose Raiko, National EMTV Sports.
And that's it for Trukai Sports. We go for a break now. When we come back, the weather details for Friday. Stay tuned for that.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for Friday now. And in the southern region, Port Moresby mostly fine but partly cloudy this evening. Fine tonight for Daru. A few showers expected for Kerma, Alotau and Popondetta. To the Momase region, a few showers expected tonight in Leh as well as in Wau. Fine weather expected for Madang, Wiebeek and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, Lorangau, Kavieng, Rabaul and Kokopo can expect a few showers this evening and then fine weather for the next 24 hours. A few showers for Kimbe, mostly fine tonight for Buka in the autonomous region of Bougainville. And in the Highlands region, mostly fine this evening with early morning fog developing for Mount Hagen, Mendi and Wabeg. Goroka and Kundiawa can expect a few showers this evening with early morning fog.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's a news, sport and weather for today, Thursday the 24th of May 2018. On behalf of the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.